Hello everyone, welcome to eMath Edge. My name is David Akwashki and I'm here to help you master mathematics and give you the edge you need to succeed in your exams. Here at eMath Edge, I'll practically be solving mathematics past questions for senior school certificate examinations for Nigerian students and possibly students across the Africa, where I will be breaking down the whole process into simple, easy to understand steps. I actually understand that preparing for mathematics exams can really be hectic, but believe me, understanding how to approach these questions, most especially the essay part, will ease you a whole lot of stress. And that is what this platform is designed to do for you. Each video tutorial is designed to boost your confidence and make math exams feel less like a mystery, but more like a basic thing you can conquer. So having said that, let's get started. So here we have question number 2, which is also a wire question for 2017. Question number 4B, which carries the total mark of 7. So the question says, a ladder leans against a vertical wall. The top of the ladder reaches a height of 12 meters, and the ladder makes an angle of 60 degrees with the ground. Find the length of the ladder. So whenever you have a question as this, the first thing you need to do is to try to understand the question. Try to understand what the question is actually requesting you to do. Try to figure out what are those available data and what you are asked to find. So in this case, we have available data, the height to be 12 meter, while we also have an angle given to be 60 meters. So let's try to, this is a trigonometry question, and you know every trigonometry question have to do with angles. So let's try to see how we can bring out an angle from this information provided. So we have solution. Now they say the ladder leans against a vertical wall. So let's try to draw out a vertical wall from top to bottom. Now the top of the ladder reaches a height of 12 meters. So now let's say this is the ladder leaning on the vertical wall from the top, right? Now the top of the ladder reaches a height of 12 meters. That's to say the height of this vertical wall is 12 meters. The height from this point which the ladder leans on to the bottom is 12 meters. Let's proceed. And the ladder makes an angle of 60 degrees with the ground. So that's to say we have a horizontal line which stands as the ground, which the ladder makes an angle of 60 degrees. So this point which the ladder makes an angle with the horizontal line, which is the ground, is 60 degrees. And the next thing we are asked to do is to find the length of the ladder. So this is the ladder and we are to obtain the length. So let's target x since we don't know the value of the length. Okay, so let's name our angle. Let's say this is angle A, this is angle B, and this is angle C. Okay, now if you observe, this is a right angle triangle. An angle with angle 90 is a right angle triangle. Okay, and based on the principle or the concept of trigonometry, if you are to obtain the sides or an angle for a right angle triangle, you should be focusing on the sine, cos, or tan. Okay, and that will take us to SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA, right? Where S stands from the sine. Sine theta is equal to what? Opposite all over the hypotenuse, right? And we have cos theta, and we have cos theta to be equal to the A and H is adjacent all over hypotenuse, and we also have tan theta. The O and A is opposite all over adjacent. Okay, so based on the available data, based on the data provided from the right angle triangle, you will observe that we have an angle 60 degrees which serve as the theta, and opposite to the angle, the length is 12 meter. So this length from point A to B is the opposite of this right angle triangle, is the opposite of this angle 60 degrees. From point A to point B is the opposite of this angle 60. So that's to say we have the value of opposite provided, and we are asked to find the value of x, and which the x point A to C serve as the hypotenuse because it is the longest side of the right angle triangle. So having known opposite to be 12, and we have angle theta to be 60, and we are asked to find x, which is the hypotenuse. That's to say the best formula that we solve this problem is the sine theta opposite all over hypotenuse, which we are asked to find. Theta is provided, right? But if you come to cos theta is provided to be 60, adjacent is not provided, and hypotenuse is not provided. So two variables are to be obtained and we cannot use that, right? Coming down to the tan, we have tan theta. Theta is 60. Opposite is provided, adjacent is not provided, but we are not requested to provide the adjacent side, which is this. No, rather we are asked to find the length of the ladder, which is the hypotenuse side. Okay, so the best formula to use for this is the sine theta. All right, so since we figure out that sine theta, which is equal to opposite all over hypotenuse, is the best formula to use, where we have theta to be equal to 60 degrees and we have opposite to be equal to 12 meter, and the hypotenuse, which is x, which we are to obtain, right? So having this data available, the next thing to do is to substitute these data into the formula so that we can further solve or further simplify to obtain a single value for x. So this is going to be sine no longer theta, since we know our theta to be 60 degrees. We are no longer using theta, rather we are using 60 degrees equal to, what's the value for opposite? 12 all over. What's the value for hypotenuse? We have it as x, right? Now sine 60, if you are to make use of your sine table, sine 60, let's go back to our sine table which we used previously. Here is it. Now if you check, you will see the column for degrees, column for radians, and you will see sine, cos, tan, and cot. So now we have sine 60 and we want to obtain the value for sine 60. So this is the sine column at 60. What do you have? What value do you have? Root 3 all over 2. You check the sine column, then the corresponding angle, which is 60 degrees. What value do you have? Is root 3 all over 2. So that's to say, instead of sine 60, we can have it to be the root of 3 all over 2 to further simplify this equation. Okay, so sine 60, we be able to figure out that sine 60 is the same thing as the root of 3 all over 2 from our trigonometry table, all over 12, sorry, equal to 12 all over x, right? So now at this point, what we are going to do is to cross multiply. And the reason we are cross multiplying is in order to make x stand as the subject of the formula. We are looking forward to obtaining the value of x. So we need to cross multiply so that we can easily simplify. Okay. So we have, if we are to cross multiply, x is going to multiply by this, while 2 multiply 12. Okay. So we are going to have it to be the root of 3 multiplied by x equal to 2 multiplied by 12. So this is going to be the same thing as the root of 3 still on x equal to 2 multiplied by 12 is 24, right? 24. So at this point, what do we do? How do we simplify further? The next thing to do is to divide through. Remember, we are trying to make x the subject of the formula, but we have the root of 3 multiplied by x here. So what we are going to do to simplify further is to divide through, or divide both sides. Divide through by the root of 3, such that we are going to have the root of 3 of x all over root 3 equal to 24 divided by the root of 3. So root 3 will go with root 3, we will be left with x, which we are looking for to be equal to 24 all over the root of 3. So x is given as 24 all over the root of 3. But we can't leave our answer like this. Why? Because the denominator cannot be a root number. Okay, so what we are going to do is to rationalize the denominator. Rationalize the denominator. So in rationalizing the denominator, what you are to do is simple. You multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the root number, which is the denominator. Okay, so it's going to be 24 all over the root of 3, which we have initially, multiplied by root 3 all over root 3. Okay, the numerator is multiplying root 3, while the denominator is also multiplying root 3, such that we are going to have 24 root 3 all over root 3 multiplied by root 3 is going to give us a single value, 3. But 24 can still be divided by 3. So we further simplify by saying 24 divided by 3, we are going to have a single value, 8 root 3. And this is the final answer, which stands for our x. Therefore, we can say that x is equal to 8 root 3. So to further simplify, we are going to have 8 into the bracket, or multiply by the root of 8 is going to give us 1.7320. So if you multiply 8 by 1.7320, you are going to have 13.85 13.8564 to be our final answer. Mind you, is in meters, okay? Because we are looking for the length of the ladder. Kindly note that the link to this workspace will be made available for you below this video so that you can access the workings for better assimilation. With that being said, that will be all for this video. Stay tuned and engaged for the next one. Also, remember that the goal of this platform is to solve as many past questions as possible just to help you overcome maths exams tension. So if you have any challenging question from this topic you would like me to solve, kindly drop them in the comment section or reach out to me via email or DM and I will be glad to assist. Thanks for watching and have a great day.